All right, greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to the Crypto Truth, where I give you the truth as I see it. All right, so I believe that this conversation needs to happen because I think a lot of people are confused about some things, and this is actually I'm gonna be starting to do a lot of screen time as far as sharing my screen with you guys. Especially when the white paper comes out, you guys know how I do that with Holochain, and I'm going to explain to you guys and just try to help everyone understand. Number one, why I'm such a Holochain fan, but also because why I'm not, for lack of a better word, because some people are. I should say, um, they. How should I say this without being offensive? Um, they admire or lick the boots of those who are leaders within the Holochain organization. I guess I should say that. Um, Kiss ass. I don't know how else to say that. The reason why, I like being a free person. I like saying I like having my own comments. I love saying my own things. And I don't like being restricted. And unfortunately, you're not gonna make a lot of friends telling people the truth. That is what it is. Or you're not gonna make a lot of friends being biased because both sides are gonna hate you. I can guarantee you, if I have a political conversation, Democrats will hate me. Libertarians will hate me, and Republicans will hate me. Everybody will just hate me because, excuse me, I'm not looking at things from an subjective point of view. I look at things from a real point of view, and I try to look at the cause of problems, or the root cause of each problems in the world. So now I'm gonna preface my comments by saying I don't know who the leaders of the Holo organization are. Totally, I don't know these people personally. I only know what is shown to me. So I can only speculate, just like we have to speculate about many things in our lives, and we can only speculate with the information that we're actually given. But here's some of the things that I'm extremely concerned about with people who are. It seems like, oh man, Arthur Brock and Eric Harris Braun and Mary Camacho, and I think those people are nice people. But there's a lot of people out there that think that they are going to change the world. Like, these people are going to change the world. The organization itself, the whole organization, is going to change the world, and I vehemently disagree with that. I also disagree that So I believe that Holochain, that governments are going to use Holochain. I made a video in the past saying the United States government will choose Holochain. But the Holo organization, I do believe that the Holo organization, that Holochain cannot be controlled as far as changing its DOT, but I do believe that it can be used for various nefarious ways, and I'm going to get into that. And I know I hate to be the bearer of bad news, because people are like, oh my God, like, you're just wrong. It's going to be perfect, and people are going to be the nicest people ever, and there's going to be sunshines and rainbows squirting all over the world. I honestly wish that was the case, but we do have a problem in this world, and that's called greed. And Holochain is not going to solve that. Holo organization is not going to solve that. And everything depends on the leadership, of the people. So I believe that it's how you use technology, and the leaders within that's able to persuade someone how to use the technology. So what I'm going to do is, what I did was I looked at, I just Googled top 10 inventions that changed the world. And I also Googled the top greatest and most influential people in the world. Now, there's a correlation there, and I want to get into this because I need you guys to understand that just because you are a great inventor, because you are an intelligent person. Now, by the way, I'm going to say this. I don't think that the people within the whole organization think that they're high or mighty. I don't think that At least I don't. That's my own personal opinion. I don't know that. Like I said, I don't know these people personally. But there are a lot of people within the community, within the Holochain community, that take things over the top and don't really think about the entire picture. So let me go ahead and get started here. So these are, I'm not going to, usually I read every little word. I'm not going to do that this time. I just want to show you guys the top 10 inventions that changed the world. That's by, this article. Number one, the steam engine, right? James Watt, steam engine's first version. It dated back to the 3rd century AD. However, it gained prominence in the 19th century when the world was witnessing industrial revolution. The modern form of internal combustion engine came into existence. Now, let me tell you guys something. This is one of the most awesome inventions ever, right? So let me ask you, how did he change the world from a moral and ethical standpoint? I'll wait. How? Now, change the world. I'm not talking about being a leader and being within the organization and inspiring those within the organization. I'm talking about changing the way the world works, right? I didn't think so. The wheel. We don't know who invented the wheel, but damn, I'm glad they invented the wheel. I mean, we got cars, we got bicycles, we had carts, we had horses that carried, that pulled the cars. So, it changed the world in many different ways, right? We don't even know who that person is. So I was gonna say something funny, but I'm gonna leave it out. Printing press. We got Johannes, looks like Gutenberg, printing press, invented by Johannes Gutenberg in 1450 AD, borrowing heavily from Chinese assets and application of the assets to advanced machines. Wow, the person that invented the printing press. Let me ask you something, people. What happened? What happened with this person, this individual? Okay, were they leaders in the world? Did they change the world? No, their technology allowed for the world to be changed, and it was the people who used the technology in a certain way that made this great. What did it do? It enabled people, and I talked about this before in my other video. It enabled human beings to have a better way of communication, and that's exactly how I see Holochain. We're looking at the computer. Charles Babbage, a mathematician and mechanical engineer, is considered the father of computers, as he invented the first mechanical computer in the early 19th century. Another mathematician and computer scientist, Alan Turing, was highly influential in the progress of theoretical computer science. Let me ask you guys something. When you're talking about the world, how did he change the world, right? How did he ethically, morally make the world a better place? Did he do that? Right? These are the things that you have to ask yourselves while you're out here worshiping inventors. You need to be looking at the entire picture and figuring out how you can use this technology to change the world for the better. Even if you have the best technology in the world, it's not going to change the fact that there are people in this world who are trying, evil people in this world, that are trying to make our world a worse place, a terrible place, and a very dark and dystopian place. Okay? You have to understand the powers that be. The internet. Vinton Cerf, and I think they should have the other name of the guy. Anyway, so it says it's difficult internet to imagine life without internet in today's world, right? The internet was first invented by Vinton Cerf. Now, what did he do? Like, was he president of the United States? Did he lead people to change their views and ways, and did he inspire people to do? No, he built something that absolutely positively changed the world, and it's how the people use that technology. I can guarantee you, if there were some things that this guy Vinton Cerf, if he's seen how they're using his technology, he would be like, I did not want this to happen. But You have to take the good with the bad when it comes to technology. And when it comes to control and you allow things to come out there, these are things that you should be worried about. These are questions that you should be worried about. With Holochain, there should be questions these are questions that you should be answering and asking. And I don't care how good the technology is. I don't care how good the algorithm is and perfect mutual backed currencies and everything else in between. I don't care how it is. If you can control humans, you can control what they do with the technology, and they can do something very good with the technology, or they can do something very, very evil with the technology. And that is true all the way across the board. Let's look at the compass. The Chinese invented the compass. We all know that. I'm not going to dive too deep into that. This is a huge one. Look at television. Vladimir K. Swarking, I totally butchered his name, and Philo Farnsworth. I like your name, Farnsworth. It would be unfair to attribute the invention of television to one person. However, it is believed that it was the brainchild of Vladimir Kosma, Quirkin, and Philo Farnsworth. So, we got an evolution of all of these TVs, and a lot of you, now you can we can scratch this out. I haven't seen any of these TVs like in life. I saw this TV, I had 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 this TV, and I had this TV. I had all of them, and I've seen the evolution of television and what it has done for the world. Has the television done a lot of terrible things? Absolutely. And part of that, and it could be subjective, but I'm going to say you can influence people to do things or to believe things in a very negative way, and television provided that, right? But television also provided a lot of positive things as well. But it can also, it also had a lot of negative things. I can give you one example. Well, as I was growing up, when I was 6 or 7 years old, I used to watch National Geographic. They always had everybody in Africa looking poor, run down, and they didn't even have, everybody lives in huts and stuff like that. And it wasn't until I got older to realize, wait, that's not how the continent of Africa is. There are countries in Africa who are advanced, and some people just choose not to live that way. But you know what? It was because of television that our viewpoints on certain things, and they're still using it today. Fox News, CNN, CNBC, all of these different news stations are using television in very negative ways so that they can control the narrative, right? The light bulb. Come on now. They say Thomas Edison. That's up for debate. I'm not going to get too much into it. What did Thomas Edison do? Right? He changed the way we're able to actually receive. Actually, there's a lot of things that that actually came up from the invention of the light bulb. But we can see here now. Was he a leader? Did he change the world? No, he did not. Did people look at him and say, "Oh man, wow"? Maybe some scientists, but the everyday person is not looking up to him in any kind of way. Right? Not looking at him as a great leader, or we can do some ethical, great ethical, moral things. I actually have another thing to buffer my argument, but I'm not gonna make this too long. Penicillin, Alexander Fleming. Are you kidding me? Penicillin. Look, my girlfriend's a nurse. She taught me a whole lot about the history of. I talk to her quite often about, I'm very ignorant with, healthcare stuff. And so she had to educate me. And one of the things that she talked about all the time was penicillin, and originality of it. Now, we went to, Tallahassee? Not Tallahassee, excuse me. St. Augustine. And, I'm going to tell you right now, they have a lot of historic stuff. Obviously, St. Augustine, oldest town in America. It's a lot there. So a lot of things were invented. They have all these, healthcare stuff. But let me tell you something. Look at this. I don't know who he is. Now, he invented something that has dramatically changed our world. But before I met my girlfriend, I didn't know who the hell he was. And that could be because of my ignorance, but it also could be what did he have? Did he have great quotes? Did he say something? Did he change the world? How did he create a new world, a new environment? No. Here's a huge one. Telephone, Alexander Graham Bell. We look at the telephone now and we see that, and I know I'm beating this with a dead horse, but I'm going to make my point very, very clear to you guys. It is important to note that this technology, the telephone, amazing. So many good things has come from the telephone and the evolution of telephones and our and the way we communicate. And so you take the telephone and the internet, and they've been mashed together, right? And it's becoming a great asset. But it has also caused a lot of harm. And again, once again, we see that there are a lot of positive things that you can do with a telephone, but there are a lot of things that has happened and that people will use for nefarious reasons. Whether it's a government, whether it's a criminal, I'm just saying they can use a lot of negative. There's a lot of negative ways that you can use the telephone. All right, let's move on here. Next, I decided, I was like, all right, let me take a look at the greatest, most influential, greatest leaders start off as great. You said great leaders start off as great followers. That's very interesting. So it says the top 10 greatest and most influential leaders in the world. Now, it says who are, this article, it could be subjective, but it says, let me see who is top 10. I don't know who. Maybe at the bottom it'll tell us who wrote this. But it says who are the world presents to us some of the great leaders who really deserve to be honored for their unique personality and the great effort that they exert trying to change the world around them to be better now. Okay, I'm not going to read that whole entire thing. But others may be unknown for you because they do not always appear to us like the famous characters, right? All right, so let me see here. Who they got the first person? Bono. Okay. I don't know who he is. Let's see here. His real name is Paul David Hewson, but he is commonly known as Bono, which is his stage name. He is an Irish musician, songwriter, businessman, venture capitalist, and also a philanthropist, right? He is known for being active in the public and persuading famous leaders, administrations, and others from different countries around the world to help poor countries, especially those who are located in Africa to solve. Now, this individual right here, even though I don't know his name, it appears like he's changed a lot. He's done a lot. Let me ask you something. What did he invent? Does it say here that he invented telephone? Did he invent VR glasses? Which this appear to be VR glasses, very high tech glasses. They look good, by the way. But anyway, is what did he invent? No, but it says here that he's a venture capitalist and also a philanthropist, businessman. He is known for being active in public life and persuading famous leaders, administrations, and others from different countries around the world to help poor countries, especially those who are located in Africa, to solve several problems that they face, including poverty, debts, diseases, and other problems from which the poor countries suffer from. This is what I'm talking to you guys about. You have to understand that there are real. Let me say this. I'm personally looking for real true leaders out there. And there are very few. For me growing up, the most influential person in my life that I personally feel that he was a great leader was Bruce Lee. And he was extremely philosophical. And I try to adopt some of these philosophical ways. But I don't worship Bruce Lee. I don't say Bruce Lee was the most amazing person ever in the whole entire world. I don't say that he solved the world's problems. No, he wasn't even an inventor. People, this is what I'm telling you. You need to understand that there are real leaders out there. There are real people out there that are trying to solve real problems. They know how to communicate. By the way, speaking of communication, now I'm a Toyota fan. I'm not a Ford guy at all. after my event that happened with Toyota, obviously I'm going to be looking for other vehicles to be supporting. But maybe I'll be on the next Ford commercial. I don't know. But it says he is former president and CEO of Ford Motor Company as he retired in July 2014. What makes Allen ranked here as greatest leaders in the world is that he succeeded in doing what other leaders of the company tried to do but failed. He saved the company and allowed it to return to profitability without bankruptcy. So he took a group of people and he led them, right? And this is an example of an organization, of leaders within the organization. And we're going to find out whether these people within the Holo organization are true leaders. We're seeing that it seems like there was a lot of, well, they had to lay off a lot of people. It seems like they needed to kind of get back to their roots and try to kind of get things back to where they wanted to go. That's according to one of the AMAs before they decided to cut down on their people. Aung San Suu Kyi. I have no idea who this is. She looks like a wonderful person. She is a chairperson of General Secretary of the National League for Democracy. And she is also opposition politician in Burma. She spent 15 years under the house arrest in Burma until her release in 2010, making her one of the most famous political prisoners. She won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1991 and was awarded other prizes by different governments around the world. So she was already, you can tell that she was influential across the world because she's been given these prizes from governments around the world. Now, I know some of these things can be a little how should I say, political, right? There could be some political motivations here. But there's something that she did that really inspired people, especially outside. Now, here's a huge one. Jeff Bezos. You look at Jeff Bezos, he says he is an American investor and he is highly responsible for the growth of e-commerce. Because he is the founder, chairman, and CEO of Amazon.com, was first just an online bookstore and it grown. Now, this is an individual that actually did invent something and start something. But let me ask you something. Is he president of the United States? No. Does he have a lot of pull and power of what we do across the world? Somewhat. Because we run in a debt-driven society, and these people they know how to. If you make millions of dollars, you can continue to earn more millions of dollars. So it is what it is. But he was a great leader within. This is a person that he invented something. He became famous for it. He was a great leader, and this is what I'm talking about. But he has changed a lot within the world. But with Amazon, did he change a lot of how we communicate with each other? Did he inspire people to be nicer to each other? Did he? I didn't think so. Tenzin Gyatso. It says here he is the current and 14th Dalai Lama since 1950. He is known to be the spiritual leader of the Tibetans, and he exerts a huge effort in trying to fight violence and spread democracy, peace, and reconciliation among different religions in the world through rabbis, popes, and imams around the world. So let me tell you something. This guy, if you're able, let me tell you something. Obviously, he hasn't been talking to the followers, but let me tell you something. It is apparent that he has a tough job. It is hard to get people with different religions to even see close to eye with each other. I commend that. But again, even though he's a great leader, he is not, and again, he has not changed the world and how it's the tools. It's the tools that you use, and there's other, obviously, other Dalai Lama, the first Dalai Lama, but we're not going to get into all of that. Warren Buffett. I don't even want to talk to him about him, but he was like black. Wow, he was like, I saw his black suit there. He was like Bitcoin is rat poison squared, blah 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 blah, all this kind of stuff. Very ignorant, but let me tell you something. He is one of the most richest people in the world, right? I read a couple of his books, but let me tell you something. Guess what? He hasn't changed the world for the better, has he? And I know some of you guys are like, that's not fair. That is not fair. Like, well, who in the world can change the world for the better? Wow, I guess somebody want attention. Wow. And this is why we have, you know what? This I hope you guys heard that. This is why we have police on the road. Like, it's crazy. You know, it must be, you know, I can't. Yeah, it's a guy with a sports car. Anyway, we got Bill Clinton here next, right? Now, a lot of people consider Bill Clinton, he as a leader, as a wonderful person. Now, we all know about his past and some of the things he did. But let me tell you something. Guess what? Did he bring America closer? That is debatable. But did he bring the world closer? I'm pretty sure he made some steps and for world peace, right? But did you change the way the world operates? See, you have to understand, whether it's the technology, whether it's the people who are there are people like presidents who control people who invented these things. So, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, Gibraltar and they're great over there, and they have they crypto friendly and different things like that. Look, people, I'm looking for people, me personally, I'm looking for people, an individual that's willing to talk about the hard subjects, bring people together so that we can come together and solve real issues and real problems to make our world a better place. And while I see people, and I'm trying to do it in my life with the resources that I have, and these people, whether they're rich or whether they're poor, whether they're inventing things, everyone is trying to do something. And so what I'm saying is that we're going to have to find real true leaders to bring us all together so that we can get some shit done. Because we're not getting things done. The world is not becoming a better place. And it just seems like to me that we're taking a couple of steps backward and not a couple of steps forward. Angela Merkel. Chancellor of Germany since 2005. She is considered to be one of the best national leaders in the world. She is leader of the European Union and succeeded in holding success for a long time. Guess what? She's played an important role in managing the financial crisis in Europe. Guess what? But did she change? Did she change the way? Did she change the way the world works? Did she look at the system and say the system is broken? Did somebody in the United States look at the system and say the system is broken? Here's how we can change the system. Here's how we can do it. No, we can't, because our system is broken. It's not you guys look at the presidents of the United States, you guys look at these leaders and you blame them, their individuals. No, it's the root cause of the problems in the world. It's the system that we live in, and I don't care what constitution is out there, it's the problem. That's what needs to be done all over again. And it seems like the only time that actually happens is when someone takes over, destroys a whole entire country, and says, okay, here's how we're going to do things. But guess what? That's the old way. It's not working anymore. We're living in an information society where information is the war. I don't want to get into info wars with that whole crazy kook guy, but my point is that when we're looking at the society, we're looking at trying to change things. It's going to be the people who step up and says, it's not going to be the people who have invented everything, invented the Holochain, invented all of these things. While it is possible, I'm looking for people who are trying to change the world, who's trying to bring us together, who's trying to say, okay, no. We need to invent a new system, completely and total system. Not any system that's because no system is working right now. And if you look at how our world is, you know what? I'm going to rabbit trail. But if you look at how our world is set up, and I stated this on Twitter, there's not a single country, there's not a single first world country or world country, powerful country that has efficiently been able to take care of its citizens. Not one. Not one. Proper justice system, not one. Our world is corrupt, people, and you need to get that. You have to understand that. And so you ask me, oh man, well, but you just said, hold on one second. We're going to go through this. Pope Francis. Obviously, the Pope always have, look at, he's chosen to leave 1.2 billion Roman Catholics. I'm not going to get into religious stuff because I can go on a whole entire tangent on that. And this video has already been the longest now. And it is what it is. It says the greatest by them is Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. I don't know who that is. Let me see here. Who is this? Do you know him? He is the current president of Egypt. Now, there's a country I haven't heard of in a long time. They had some issues. Back around in that time. He is widely considered one of the most influential leaders in the whole world, especially at present time. Before being president of Egypt, Sisi was the minister of defense, and he played an important role in overthrowing President Mohamed Morsi, who failed to achieve his goals in January 25. You see how things are done? We got to get away from taking over and destroying governments in order to make them run efficiently, and that starts with great leaders. That starts with leaders who are able to say, okay, this is what I believe. This is what I believe Holochain can do. Holochain can do. And when it comes to Holo, well, the jury's out on that. But what Holochain can do is enable people to be able to communicate in a much simpler, scalable way, and to not Holo. It will allow people to not be controlled and be able to do the things that they want to do. But at the same time, how are you going to use this technology? Because I can guarantee you, there are going to be a lot of problems. People building nefarious things on Holochain. And I know the Holo organization is trying to prevent that from happening as much as they possibly can. But you can't get them all. And not only that, but you never know. You never know what's going to come out. He said the new president does his best to solve the problems from which the country suffers, especially the bad economic conditions. There are several actions that are taking president to overcome serious problems in the country. Look, people, all I'm saying is the world hasn't changed. And I don't care what technology has been out over the years. You can believe in a certain technology. You can believe that it's going to change the world, that it's going to do everything, and that governments are going to be toppled. And like I said, sunshine and rainbows. But guess what? That is not the case, people. That is not the case. And do I think it's possible? Absolutely, I think it's possible. But we cannot go anywhere unless we find the proper leaders. And so when a lot of people are, and I'm going to call you zealots, and I hate to say that, but it's true. When you people are zealots and you're trying to get in with, trying to be kiss asses and get in with the leaders of Holochain, and you're trying to communicate with them, and you're trying to say, oh, you're such a great person, I got nothing negative to say about you. Let me tell you something. Even they should be careful. And I don't think they're careful enough, but it is what it is. It's very hard to decipher people who are just being fake and they just want to be part of the organization, and people who are being real and really want to solve real problems and issues. So, we humans are not perfect, but it's going to take great leaders to use the technology so that we can make this world a better place. Now, why do I have this up here? I've had this up plenty of times. There it is. Here's a chart right here. I do this a lot. I did this before. I don't know what else to tell you people. You look at blockchain. I'm telling you right now, here's where we're at right now. We're looking at blockchain, and blockchain has a lot of problems, right? Highly limited in terms of scalability and transactions per second. But blockchain was the start of something great. But guess what? Did it change the way rich people do things? Did it change humans' hearts? All these people talking about, oh, the government, oh, we need to bypass the government and topple the government, and we got our own money now, and they don't control us anymore. But guess what? You have people still playing around with the most coins that all of the whales. They're still playing around. They're still using that, and it's always going to be, because there's only 21 million, there's always going to be people to hold it for a store of value. I've stated this in the past. I said that Holochain, that Bitcoin will be always a store of value until they get rid of blockchain. It's going to be a store of value. We look at Hashgraph. I don't really. It says virtual voting and gossip about gossip ensures that transactions are validated by the majority. I have a real problem with virtual voting, and but I think Holochain uses gossip, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Validation transaction is as per consistency. There's a lot of issues going on with Hashgraph. There's a lot of they are trying to they're trying to be like the all of the companies and organizations that is basically taking over everything in the world. They're trying to bring them together, and they're saying, hey, we want them to get together and decide how you should run your life. Now, everybody's trying to run away from government, and they're going to run right into the arms, or attempting to run into the arms of these people with their nice what do they call it? Was it promotions, and I'm pretty sure they have a business team, a PR team. They're really trying to get out there promoting everything about Hashgraph. And I don't know what these people are saying in the background, but they are selling. Look, Sam Bankman-Fried sold, like, people in the United States of America, Mr. Wonderful, they got had. And I'm laughing. But the truth of the matter is that these people, you gotta understand, they were fooled. They were fooled because they thought that, oh my goodness, it's cryptocurrency. It's going to change the way we do things, and the very hearts of human beings have not changed, and that's the thing that we have to get in control of, is the narrative of the way we're living our lives. You guys can be mad at Sam Bankman-Fried all you want. The reality of it is that he's just another douchebag that's out there that's taking advantage of people, not changing a damn thing. But a lot of people look at him as a leader. Oh, what was it saying? They looked at him because he dressed well, because he talked well, because he spoke well. He wasn't like the Crypto Truth on these channels, talking like he don't know what the hell he talking about. He actually had a good flow to his voice. He sounded good. He was able to have these nice long words that don't make any kind of sense to the average person, but the people up top and the high people with the IQ, oh yeah, they got this. Oh man, this guy's intelligent. Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say about that. We look at DAG, and then we look at Holochain. And like I said before, you guys need to understand this world, the way things operate now. It's gonna be how leaders, not the people who invented this stuff, but people who know how to use this technology for the better. All of them. It don't matter what technology you have. Let's use it for the best. Let's use it to make our world a better place. But blockchain has been used to just strip people and rip people off. Hashgraph is trying to put the hands into, because they are extremely capitalist, and I don't want to get into capitalism, but you guys have to understand 100% capitalism does not work. We can argue that on another day, and I would love to argue with anybody who thinks that Bitcoin is going to change the world. I will go ahead and gladly accept that argument, because I know for a fact that not only will I change that person's mind. Look, people, I've talked to a lot of people in my own in my area here in Florida, there's a lot of people who are Bitcoin maximalists. I've had conversations with them, and I explain to them things, and they're like, "Oh, well, I didn't see it that way." Oh, you're right. That's what I'm talking about. You're going to have to be able. So, DAG and Holochain may be no different. It could be used for many different, various nefarious ways, but let me tell you something. For the most part, I think it's going to change the world for the positive. But let's not get it twisted. How we use the technology is going to be the leaders that says, hey, we're going to use blockchain this way. We're going to use Hashgraph this way. We're going to use DAG this way. We're going to use Holochain this way. And we're going to use, there's one other one that they're trying to do that's very interesting, but we're going to use that way. And here's how we're going to do it. And here's how we're going to... All of this stuff, this is working on monetary, monetary gains, or a different way for us to do finance. Holochain provides a different way of communication altogether, and that's why I like Holochain. We have an opportunity to use this technology to make it great, and to formulate a wonderful community. But it doesn't start by people being a zealot for their for the people who have. I've seen them. You got people full of blockchain, all these blockchain technologies, and you guys listen to them. Oh, this is gonna go to the moon. Oh, this is going to be the awesome technology. What are they talking about? They're talking about being rich. They're talking about owning stuff. They're talking about going on cruises and like not the kind of cruise I went on, but expensive cruises, and they're talking about, you know, having these parties on these boats with all these girls, and that's what they're advertising. That's what they are. It has not changed the human heart. It has not changed the way. And people, you may look at me and say, well, you can't change people. Yo, you can't change people, but you can damn straight influence them. And you can persuade them. And there are different ways to do that. But one of the ways to persuade somebody is not to be a zealot over one technology or one thing or an individual or a group of individuals. You have to grow up. I suspect there's a lot of people who don't like me within the Holochain community. That's understandable, I guess. I'm not always talking sunshine and rainbows. I'm not always sniffing up someone's rear end to try to gain approval, to try to get, oh man, I'm famous because they really like me. You know, I talk positive. I say nothing but positive things. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to do that. And it may restrict me, right? It may restrict me from getting the job that I want. It may restrict me from gaining a whole lot of monetary value or money, monetary things. But let me tell you something. People who know me in my life, all of my life, I've been poor all of my life. I'm considered the working poor all of my life. It still is today. And let me tell you something. I don't care about having a lot of money. I care about experiences, learning, different cultures. It's a wonderful thing. I care about growing as a person, as a human being. I care about attempting to try to make our world and our communities a better place. And I think that's what Holochain does. It starts with the community. It starts with people being able to communicate with each other and say, hey, here's how we're going to do things. But it does not create a new justice system. It allows us to use the technology to create a better justice system. It allows us to communicate and say, hey, you know what? Why don't we do things this way? It allows people who are going through tornadoes and hurricanes and earthquakes to communicate and say, hey, the internet's out, but guess what? They used a holoport, and because the holoports are up and running, I'm able to find out what happened to my niece or nephew across seas, or my uncles. or my family. It's very real, people. I'm gonna leave it at that. I really try to do my best to help out and try to speak the truth. But I know a lot of people aren't going to listen, and that's understandable. I'm telling you right now, I'm sorry that my voice is a little bit different, but I'm telling you guys, we have got to find a way to find these leaders out there. And many of you guys are like, I know you're like, why? Well, why don't you become a leader? Well, damn it, I've definitely tried, but let me tell you something. It's hard for me. It is very hard for me, and I understand that because I'm a straightforward guy. And I try to be as honest and unbiased as I possibly can because I want the world to be a better place. I don't care that I'm from America. I don't care that I'm an American. I don't care that I'm black. I don't care about being a part of a community or a church community. I don't care about any of those things. The only thing I care about is the truth. The only thing I care about is having an efficient economy in which we can learn and grow together. That's what I care about. Oh well. Anyway, as I always say, do your own research, do your own research, do your own research. I know this video was one of my long ones. I knew it was going to be a long one. I did that on purpose. I am not going to repeat myself on Twitter. When I see people tell me about, oh, you're being negative, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, oh, you're not a very technical savvy guy, all this stuff, you don't know, you don't understand how Holochain works. I'm gonna point this video. I'm gonna send them this video, and that's just gonna be that. I'm tired of repeating myself. So, yeah. Anyways, you guys, please, take it easy out there. I always say do your own research, but it is very important for you to do your own research. And last but not least, you guys, please, above all else, stay safe out there. Bye, you guys.